All right, Mini-Cryptic number 2. So we're just going to jump straight into it. So we have one across, take from dead, leave a nasty cut. This definitely being one of the tougher indicators to spot. And first tip I would give to anybody who's doing cryptics is if just punctuation, like commas or, I don't know, mid-sentence question marks or brackets, just ignore them. Chances are they're there to just throw you off, and instead maintain like a coherence when you read it to mislead you. Especially in this scenario, take from dead, leave a nasty cut. Ignore that comma and you might get take from dead, leave a nasty cut, and dead, leave a, which were usually separated by the comma, now could be looked at dead, leave a, as in to leave the letter A. So you might get DED. So we're left with nasty cut. We also have take from at the beginning, but very tough to figure out any indicators there. Nasty cut, however, looking like a better scenario. Nasty being an anagram indicator, it's a bit messed up. So if you anagram the word cut, you get deduct, which means to take from. Then 4 across, serve mocha tea under elegant residence. Now looking for your indicator here, our verb being serve. And serve means to like present or to give. So if you look within the clue here, you'll see that the answer is actually being given to you. It's literally being served to you. Since we know serve is the indicator, we know the definition is probably going to be residence, maybe even elegant residence. And if we look inside of those words, we can actually get chateau, which is an elegant residence. 6 across, every second is scarlet, almost sounds of horror. Very nice clue. I like the self-praise is crazy, but very nice clue in terms of the theme being maintained. Every second should jump out to you. If you've done any like alternate letter cryptics, you'll see things like odd, even, regular. Words like that will always just mean take every sole letter. Now this one, we take every second of is scarlet, almost. We go, second letter of is S. Then we go to scarlet, we end up on C, A, R, L, E, B, A, L, M, O, S, T. So screams, which are sounds of horror. Then we go to 9 across, most open walnut shell around rough side. Which reads as a nice sentence, and definitely tough to spot the definition here. Rough side, definitely a really good contender here. Most open. Let's look inside of the word first and see if we can find any indicators. So we see around, we see shell being similar to case in a way. Any words that indicate like the outside, the exterior. So we take the shell of walnut. We have WT, and we can see after that it says around. We could safely assume that WT is like that. Looking like walnut could fit in here, but obviously it's not. And then we need 4 letters. So we have most open, which is looking like the definition now, especially because around is saying it's going to go around rough side. Rough being an anagram indicator. So we roughen up the word side. We can get something that means most open. And in this scenario, it's going to be widest. The most open thing is the widest thing. Then we have paramedic establishes concealed cuts. And concealed should be the word that jumps out at you here. And obviously with the letters we've been given, you might be able to spot it before I even tell you. But concealed means it's hidden. So we can probably gather that the definition is going to be cuts. We're looking for a 5-letter word hidden in paramedic establishes. That means cuts. And if you see the D and C, you might figure out that dice is hidden between the 2 words. Loops around and found in cells. So loops around, we're looking for a 3-letter word here. Even ignoring the letters that we do have, this isn't the easiest word to spot straight away. Certain words might throw you off. Like loops around might make you want to make the word loops go around, or even the word around be looped. but actually a bit more devious than that. We're going to be looking at the word and. We're going to be looping that word around, which gives you DNA, which is found in cells, which is why the question mark is there. Not a direct definition, but not incorrect to say it. Heading over the tree down, we have consumed brewed beverage, which I've made aware to a few people. This is technically a clue that has two definitions, and I'll explain how now. If you think of a word for consumed, a more generally used word for consumed, it's a past tense of eat, which is ate, so ATE. And if you were to brew that, you'd end up with a beverage, which is tea. But because the definitions most commonly at the beginning or the end, you could start with tea and you could brew that word and then end up with consumed, which is ate. But obviously deduct and chateau will force your hand to play tea this way. Blue group settles segment. Yeah, segment being the word here that you're going to have to look out for. Similar to concealed or hidden. We're looking for a segment inside of group settles, because of course the definition has to be at the beginning if segment's at the end. We're looking for a word for blue that's hidden inside of group settles. And if you look right between the gaps where it usually tends to be, and the word upset. Sound of murder about whiskey. 3 letters. And not many words I can fit into this gap, but justifying is always good. Sound of murder about whiskey, and that question mark being important here. Whiskey being one of the letters of the NATO alphabet, and that'll give us our W at the end. But how do we get the 2 letters before that? We look at the sound of murder, you might realize that this clue is kind of trying to throw you off. And if you think about what a murder might be, it's actually a group of crows. And the sound of crows would be a caw, which is the answer to this one. But how do we get the CA? And this is just one of those rhythms that you come to learn over time. And about, of course, can be like a container indicator. So if you say like, I don't know, X about Y, it means put X around it. But in this case, about can mean circa, about 1970, circa 1970. And that can be commonly abbreviated to CA, which you might see when people are referencing events in the past. Progress starts allowing great experiences. So definition here, great experiences maybe, experiences, progress starts. The indicator here that you might spot is starts. You take the starts of the 3 following words, allowing great experiences, you'll end up with a word that means progress or to progress, which is age.